Okay, let's just do a quick audio check here. Testing, testing. Excellent. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to get started in just a minute, okay? Hang tight. All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Friday. So last day in March 31st, 2023. Great to have everybody on board. All right, if there's a problem with the audio or the video, please let us know right away in the comments area here, whatever platform you happen to be watching us. We're streaming out over a number of different platforms. So, that's important because I usually am the last one to know if there's a problem. I'll just keep talking. But anyway, it's great to have everybody here. Let me just go through a few administrational things. We want you to start typing in your stocks at any time. Just type them in caps, okay? Either stocks or ETFs are fine. So just type those in caps in the comments area. And if you don't see the comments area, then that means you probably haven't subscribed to the channel. So make sure you do that as well. And then that'll open up the comments area. Okay, so we're getting into spring here, so good signs for everybody out there, warmer weather coming. All right, so let me go through and just go through some of the administrational items. First thing, of course, is the presentation disclaimer. We want you to realize there are risks in pretty much everything we do, right? But especially in trading the financial markets and investing in the financial markets. But like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity, okay? So that is something you should realize. Also, too, make sure you contact your financial advisor or perhaps your money manager to be sure anything we talk about here, even if we say, hey, we found a great stock pick, that may or may not be suitable for you. So check with them first because a lot of factors go into that. And then also, too, past performance does not guarantee future performance. So if something is good in the past, doesn't mean it's going to be good in the future. And then, of course, realize we always trade in a realm of probabilities, not certainties, so there's no guarantee. Finally, also, too, you have to know how to do risk control, okay? Risk control is really important, and we can help you with that because we have a whole host of books dedicated to money management and risk control. My newest book on risk control, second from the right, called Money Management for Traders. Easy read. What I did is strip that book down, so we give you the basics and all the points you need to implement a solid risk control program into your trading. So definitely check that out. The Art of Trading is a second edition that's coming out later this year. We're really excited about that book. I put a lot of new information in that book, and I put a lot of market information in terms of what's going on now in that book. And also, too, we've got a lot of information on our new software. You know, our original edition came out in 2008, so it's due for an update, and our publisher contacted us and wanted us to do that. So we're really happy that's coming out. I have a book on Elliott Wave, Survival Guide for Traders, and a Trader's Money Management System too. I'll put the link for you to buy these. We have a direct Amazon page. I'll put that in the recording a couple hours after the live presentation ends here, so you can access that, or you can go to our website, and we have a little button under education called books that will take you there too. All right, so the next thing too to mention is that we have I created a bunch of trading tools over the last oh gosh, how long have we been in business? 26 years in business, and I was trading many, many years before that. So these trading tools are a combination of what I found worked best in the market, and we cover charting software, scanners, and risk control software. So because we really try to hammer out all the major slices of the pie here that you need to know in order to be a good trader, and risk control is a really important aspect of that, we call this the ultimate trading system. And I'll put a link for this in the recording as well in the comments area down below, and also to on the website you can access it. Now, when we post the recording for this session, I also put the timeline of everything we talk about. So if we talk about, the gold ETF or the crypto ETF or whatever, you can actually, if you open up the description in YouTube, under the name, you can just click right on that stock we talked about. So definitely, if you want that kind of thing, definitely go to YouTube and we'll put the timeline on there. And then finally, we want to thank everybody for taking the time to come today. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends. The more people we get, the better. The stock picks we've been coming up with have been doing really well. Market's been bullish this week. We don't expect that to last forever. In fact, we expect that to give way at some point to some bearishness. But so far, enjoy the ride. And a lot of our picks have been to the long side. And again, I know everybody's busy out there, so I want to thank you for taking the time to attend today. All right, so let me get out of here. All right, so we're going to come out of here. And then what I want to do is start taking a look at stocks. Now, before I get going, a couple quick things. If you're new here, you're going to say, whoa, what's that? What am I looking at there? So that is, we use NinjaTrader, and there's a variety of different platforms our software is compatible on, like TradeStation. It's compatible on eSignal and things like that. But I'm using NinjaTrader right now. And notice that there's 3 charts up. And those 3 charts all have the same symbol. And I'm going to start out looking at the ETF for Bitcoin because that's done really well. And we've talked about that before. We've recommended that. So GBTC, all right, is on 3 charts. And the chart on the left is the 60-minute chart. The chart on the center is the daily. The chart on the right, okay, we need to change that to weekly. It's currently at daily, so let me just change that. All right, so there's the weekly chart. So basically what you're looking at are different time frames of the same symbol. And this is called multiple time frame analysis. And it helps us time entries and exits a lot better than just one chart. So that's why we do that. On the far right here, you can certainly see our our risk reward calculator. This is how we actually calculate the trade size when we're about to enter a trade, whether it's a day trade on stocks, a day trade on futures, or whatever. And it's really a great tool. We're not going to be using that today because I'm just going to be looking up your stock picks. But if you're actually trading, you're going to want to get a hold of that, and you can purchase that on our website. And then finally at the top, we got the rainbow colored scanners working. All right, so those are always running in the background for us. So we got that going on. And so let's focus. All right, so first of all right, yeah, and Gene says, go ahead and type symbols in so you can do that at any time. All right, so let's take a look at GBT. So really excited that GBT is doing pretty much what we expected. Remember when we looked at it back in here in February, we said, oh, we're probably going to get a pullback to this area. Look at that. Perfect. And then it responded back up with a new pyramid trading point entry. And so it's doing pretty well. Now you can look at this trade, all right, as 2 types of trade. Short term, we think it's probably going to get to about $25, maybe 37. There's a zone here, and here it is on the weekly chart. We think the fib retracement levels around $25.86 up to $37.07. So that's where we could think it most likely will go. Now, if it will pull back along the way, it's not going to go straight up all the time. But if it continues higher than $37, then that chances is we're going to approach the all-time high on Bitcoin. My personal feeling on this is that there's a good chance that we have seen a major bottom in the cryptos, and they're going to move up from here. And certainly when we first recommended this around the $9 area, you just about doubled your money almost on this, but it's got a long way to go. So would I buy it now? Yes, but you got to be a little careful because you got to have your stop pretty far, okay, back. You may want to wait for the pullback because eventually you'll get one. but also too, if you go in now, just move your stop just a little bit lower than you normally would in case you get a pullback. So I'm liking Bitcoin. I'm going to put that down still as a buy. Just be careful on your stop, okay? Be really careful on your stop. All right, so the next one I want to take a look at is silver. All right, silver is one that we also recommended. We were waiting and waiting to get into this, and finally it generated some buy signals on the multiple time frames. So we like it, okay? We think it's going to go up from here significantly. We think we may have a major bottom in this area here on the weekly chart. So in 2020, major bottom. And it's kind of been stagnant since 2021. You know, it went up abruptly from 20 to 2021 after COVID. And then it's kind of stalled out with a slight wedge to the downside. You can see that here. And then it now is starting to rocket back up. So I am saying silver is a buy. But again, all right, notice on the daily chart, we've had a number of price bars in a row. I mean, that's excessive. So while it's going higher, it's probably going to take a breath before it does, okay? So definitely keep that in mind, okay? So if you go in now, you got to move your stop. I would say at least, you know, under 20, maybe 19 would be better, somewhere around in there to allow for a full fib retracement. So I'm going to recommend silver, but also again, like GBTC, get that stop as low as you can. Now, you do have bullish indicators down here. So this is the OWL. This is one of my indicators that I developed, and that measures momentum. The PTF just under it is the precision trend filter, and it's green now. So it's calling for more highs. We have this green, this green. The only caveat, like I said, is we have bearish divergence in the short-term charts developing. So probably a pullback and then one more surge up, and we'll take a look at it again there. So bullish on silver, but just be careful of the pullback. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at gold. Now, gold we're bullish on too and have been for quite some time. And this has been really almost a textbook trade, simply because, you know, we anticipated the pullback. All right, a lot of people wanted to get in up here. We said, wait for the pullback. It did it, and then the entry was here. So beautiful entry. Your stop should be under this pyramid here. All right, you'll probably good certainty that you'll get to the target zone. Of course, nothing's certain, but the probabilities are really skewed on your side that you'll get there. In terms of entering now, the only concern I have is we're so close to the target, there's not much profit left. Now, if it goes to the upper end of the target on the weekly chart, we could get into the 200. So that's pretty high, right? But you know, we're at 183 now. The short-term target is really 186 to 198. So once it gets there, you'll have a major correction and then probably one more move up to meet the goal on the weekly chart. So I don't think I'm going to recommend this now. Either you're in it or not. Let's wait. Maybe we'll get a better opportunity to get in it a little more down the road. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so let me see here. If there's any others, I wanted to talk. Oh, I know. All right. UGH, natural gas is not natural gas. I want TLT rather. TLT is the next one I want. And these are the bonds. Now, the bonds have come off their bottom, but my problem is that these indicators are saying, well, not so fast. We might see a little more bullishness because the short-term chart is bullish. But then unless these turn either yellow or green, it's indicating more lows are possible. So the probabilities of more lows are possible. So I don't want to go into this yet. At one day, it's going to be great, okay, but maybe not quite yet, all right? So keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look and see what's coming in now. All right, GBTC I looked at. Redo, were you here when I looked at that one? Hopefully so. ND, let's take a look at ND. And these have to be stock or ETF symbols or they won't load, okay? So I'm not sure what you're doing on that one. I'm not getting any loading, I think, on this one. Let's see what happens with this one. Nope, no load on that one. So you have to put either stocks or the actual ETF symbols, okay? ETHE. Now this is Ethereum, okay? So I don't like Ethereum right now simply because this is still showing no go on an entry. I like GBTC much better. All right, GBTC is much, much better. So I'm, you know, let's see if that turns, but right now, not so sure, okay? We're seeing a little bearish divergence here as well, okay? And it has not had the pop, really, that GBTC has. Pretty close, but not exactly. So we're going to wait on that one, okay? In terms of percentages, it is, but the pattern is quite a bit different. So we'll have to take a look at that a little down the road. All right, NVIDIA is another one. And let me just review here as well and see. So NVIDIA is another one that we liked a lot. We recommended in this room a while back. It's done extremely well, all right? Now, it's getting up close to the target on the weekly. So here's the weekly target. So in terms of an Elliott wave, look on the chart on the right, and this is a Elliott wave 3, and there are 5 waves in an Elliott wave trend. So those that like Elliott wave will know what I'm talking about. That's a 3, that's a 4, and this is the target for the 5th. Now we also have a PTF green, so there's a 75% probability rate on this indicator. And that's indicating 75% probability will go above here. So we're talking about 350 is the target on this. Prices are at 273. We're kind of due for a pullback at some point. So I don't want to put anybody new in here yet. Maybe if it pulls back to like 210 in this area here, all right, we'll initiate another buy. But for right now, this is just a hold. Okay, so if you're in it, enjoy the ride. Make sure you trail your stops up. All right, and you're in good shape, okay? You should have done really, really well on that one. So that is NVIDIA. AMD is another one of interest, and we talked about this one too. And the AMD, of course, is Advanced Micro Devices. And on this one here, on the weekly chart, again, very similar to NVIDIA in terms of what it looks like. There's a 3, here's a 4, going up to the target for 5. Now you have a lot more distance between where prices are now and where the target is. So this would be a better one for you to go into for more of a long-term trade, lasting maybe 6 months or more, a little more. And I'm liking this. So I'm going to recommend AMD, okay, as a long-term trade, okay. We probably will get some pullback, but it's looking really good. All right, so I think that looks like one you want to take. I put the stop as low as you can. Okay, low as you can afford to do that. So that is AMD. All right, let's take a look at UPRO. UPRO. All right, so UPRO. So we were hoping this thing, all right, would pop up to the target zone here. It looks like it's kind of on its way. The reason why this is not a 3, 4, 5 at this time is because of this. This is indicating that wave 4 may not be over. So we don't want to go in too early. So we're going to wait and see if that thing changes. It looks like we may even go back up into this zone that we were in before it sells off. But in terms of getting the top of wave 5 and going over $80, we don't think it looks like that's quite possible at this time. Now, there is one trade that we look at, and that's called what we call a PTF trade, based solely on the PTF indicator. That's indicating short term we should move back up. So this is green. Take the highest price in the green area, and that's this price here, sitting at almost 50 bucks. All right. So we think it's going to go from 37 to 50 back into the target zone before it could possibly sell off. And then we're going to watch the PTF. If it turns green, then we have the green light for a wave 5 trade. If it stays red, then we'll probably look to ratcheting our stops up and exit the next time it hits this target zone. So you have what we call a PTF trade. So I'm going to put UPRO as a scalp trade. And this is how we use the PTF for scalping the markets. So this scenario here with the red PTF keeps this from being a wave 5 trade. However, this scenario here, because this has a 75% probability, is indicating we're probably going to go higher before we go down. And if you put your stop right under the pyramid or right under here, you have the distance between here to here for a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So we're liking that a lot, okay? We're liking that a lot. So there's that. All right, let's see what we got. Kenneth is saying, I use your Elliott wave scanner, only trade wave 3s. Is that too limiting? No, a lot of people only trade wave 3s. We trade sometimes, we even trade a wave 4 sometimes. But because the scanner tells us when we're in a wave 3, we just wait for it to be over, and we have the setup for the wave 4. It also finds wave 5, so you can also trade that one. But no, not too limited. Don't forget, wave 3 is the most powerful of all the waves of the Elliott wave. So if you can get in early, you're in great shape. If you show up to the party and it's too mature, all right, maybe a possible wave 4 trade or wait for wave 5. Okay, so not all is lost. Once you know wave 3, you actually know a lot more than most people. Okay, because you know kind of where you are in the trend and the market cycle. So good question. Okay, excellent. All right, so this is UPRO, Samuel. That's for you. So I'm suggesting this, Samuel, as using a daily chart, PTF scalp trade. Up above 50, stop has got to be under these support levels, so your risk to reward is there. But answer is yes. Okay, scalp trade. All right, QQQ, little Nasdaq here. Okay, Samuel's QQQ. So here is a kind of an interesting scenario here. Okay, notice we don't have any red PTFs. All right, right away. All right, so there's the big. That's a big difference. Okay, let me just remove this old thing I had sitting here. Okay, so basically it's looking like 3, I'd say maybe 4 and a 5 on its way. So let's see where we're going. I think the Nasdaq has got some more room to the upside. Okay, that is very possible. The only thing is that we're going to watch the support levels down here, because if this thing turns south and starts taking out these support levels, then this is not a 4, it's a major move down, which it certainly could be. Okay, so you got to be a little careful here. But I would go ahead and get bullish, all right, particularly right now. And, you know, watch for the mood of the markets to change. But if we get above 400, all right, that's a nice little profit. All right, so we may do that. So we'll see what happens with that. But get out, all right, if you go below this pyramid or even this support level here, because that means that maybe this is just still in a correction. So that's where you got to be a little careful about that. So, you know, you can decide how you want to do that, okay? Might not be for everybody because that's kind of a long-term situation as well. So we'll see, okay? But definitely bullish for now. All right, Al is here. Al's in the house. All right, ENVX. Let's see what you got cooking here, Al. Al, beautiful. See, Al knows what I like. So I think, Al, you've got the scanning down, basically like I like to do. Okay, so EVNX, beautiful trade, all right? Hopefully, Al, you got in the beginning here, okay? All right, because that's the ideal place. It's had a big move up. You know, the trees don't grow forever, and neither do the market. So it's due for a pullback. Doesn't mean I'm not excited about a bullish trend on this. So do I think this is a major bottom on these charts here, which is the same bottom? You betcha. All right, it looks really good. My only concern is you got to get that stop low enough so you don't get taken out of the market during the next pullback. So this pyramid here is ideal for that. And this is the ART system. What it does is it finds the best places for trailing stops, initial stops, and also dictates entries. So the entry would have been better on the earlier pyramid. This gave an entry as well for an add-on, but you want to have your stop not too close right now. So you're kind of getting a blow off here maybe. Do I say go into it? You could, but you got to have your stop pretty low, and don't be upset if it pulls back a little, all right, before it continues on. So I like this one, ENVX. I'll put down as a buy. Stop far away. Be prepared for a pullback, okay? All right, nice one. Okay, very nice one. BRDS, let's take a look at this, the birds. All right, give that a second to load here. All right, once again, Al, nice one on the bottom, but you see this is a little different. See the red PTF? No go, okay? That's it. That has to change color, Okay, we either have to get that green or have it make one more low and go neutral. So no buy. It's too early right now. That thing's got to change, but watch it because it can turn from red to green. All right, so don't do it yet, but I do like the possibilities here because look at the bullish divergence. So what this kind of means, whenever we say that, what that means is the owls look at the momentum, right? So in a big move down, especially during wave 3, you get huge momentum. Everybody's selling their long positions. All the shorts are shorting the market. The market just keeps going. There's no buyers. So basically, it just keeps going down until it gets to a level where people aren't interested in shorting it anymore. They've sold already what they're going to sell. And so now it kind of bases along these bottoms. And usually at this particular point, you have two things going on. All right. You got the possibility of all the people short see that the downtrend is stalled or kind of basing. So they don't want to be there anymore. They made their money. They want to get out. So they start to buy. They cover their positions. When you're short, you got to buy to cover. That causes the market to start to move up. And we use Fibonacci retracement tools placed at specific levels. Now notice I didn't place it here, I placed it here. I do that on purpose. And if you want to learn why I do that, all right, check out our courses on drawing fibs. All right, so what happens is that the shorts cover, all right, value investors may come in and take a look at it, and you got speculators saying, okay, I'll take the risk on this since it's such good value. So that's what happens, and then it starts to move up to this zone here. And that's usually a point where all the shorts have covered. Anybody that's going to buy is buy. And then it has to make a decision, the market. Either there's going to be good news and the thing is really going to go up from there, or it's still the same. And then if it's still the same and there's no enthusiasm, back down it goes. So you got to be kind of careful here. I think probably it could be good to hear, but I'm not going to do anything or recommend this until this goes green. So if this goes green, Al, all right, then this is your target, about 349. Okay, this is like a penny stock, 30 cents. So that's not a bad return. Okay, so that kind of thing. All right, so that's where I am on that. Not recommending that for right now. Okay, not recommending that for right now. All right, let's take a look at LGMK. LGMK. Give that a second to load. All right, so this one, okay, so this one, very good one to have on the watch list. No question about it. Look at the bullish divergence there. We got a little bit of green here. 15-cent stock, Al. Not kind of, you know, there's not a lot of liquidity. Look at the 15-second chart. I wouldn't recommend it for that reason. This is still red too, so no go on that one, okay? Poor liquidity, and looks like going down from there. Here's SBNY. All right, you must have subscribed to a penny stock newsletter because all these are like under $1. So red across the board. Look at all the PTFs, indicator in the center. Don't do that one. If you're short, look at the pyramids, how well they worked on that on pretty much all time frames, but not for a long position at this point, okay? And don't go short now. It's only at 22 cents, okay? So there you have it. All right, Stuart, INTU. Let's take a look at Intuit. Anybody filing their taxes? They use Intuit. Anybody using QuickBooks Pro? There you have it too. All right, so looks good on the weekly chart. Look at the classic. See, I'm going to just open this up for a minute. In terms of the Elliott wave, because somebody was asking about Elliott wave, you cannot deny that that is the most significant trend and very clear on this market. That's a 3. All right, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure that one out. Okay, Elliott wave says wave 3 is the strongest of waves. Okay, and there it is. So now we're in a correction, and we have a green PTF, which is saying after the correction, we're going to take out this high. So the next thing we have to determine as traders is the correction over? Because if we go in too soon and it's still going down, we'll get stopped out. So that's always the thing to think about. So what I usually do is draw a quick fib. I kind of take a look at the channeling. First break off here, as long as it's not the all-time low. And look, it hit the fib perfectly. okay, perfectly. And we still have a little bit of red on the momentum, but we have a green PTF. So the PTF is saying with a 75% accuracy rate that we're going to get above probably 700. Okay. Now, in terms of if the trend is over, now we can draw fib extensions and see what the wave 5 target zone is. So we see basically it's great when both the PTF and the wave 5 target zones, or any target zone, agrees with that. And it kind of does. All right. It's actually saying a little higher, around 773 to 1031. So this is, the target is definitely there. You have plenty of risk to reward in your favor. So absolutely outstanding. So now the next thing we do is let's see if there's anything keeping us or holding us back on the daily chart or the 60-minute chart. And the answer is no. So let's put this one down as the buy. This is one of the best ones I've seen right now. Okay. So there's some good ones, but this was good because you can put your stop fairly close based on where we think it's going. Don't use this pyramid. All right. It's too close. It's just tracking up a short trend at this point. Put it at the bottom for now. Okay, right at the recent low back in March. That's where you need to do that. Okay, so that is INTU for Stuart. All right, and as Stuart says, no more rain here in San Diego. Yeah, we've had nothing but, we had hail yesterday here. All right, I want a rebate on my sunshine tax, right? We've had a lot of rain this winter. This has been one of the rainiest winters I've seen in my, 26 years out here. All right, Kenneth is asking, Bennett, do you have rules for liquidity before you trade a ticker, especially for options? Well, here's I have a pretty basic rule. And again, what I usually do on that, Kenneth, is I just look at the 60-minute chart. If I'm taking a position trade and the 60-minute chart looks spotty, like that other one we looked at earlier, all right, then that's low liquidity. All right, some people have specific numbers they look for and all that kind of stuff. I'm not quite that specific on it. But I need to see clear patterns on a chart. If I can see clear patterns on these 3 time frames I'm using, then the volume and the liquidity is going to be okay. That's just a general rule I use. And it's the same for futures. I mean, we day trade the futures markets, and sometimes we'll look at a futures market that is a commodities, for example. And, you know, on the 1-minute time frame, the volume may not be high enough to really make a lot of good patterns on that. So that's how we know. Okay. So good question. All right. Al, FSLR. And this is First Solar. Let's see how this bad boy is doing. All right. So the solar companies generally have been doing good, obviously, because everybody wants solar to lower their prices. So we're definitely still moving up. We just had a yellow PTF. So this PTF called back in here for when it went up here more highs, and we're getting that now. But it's the yellow, so it's neutral. And the reason for that is you can see the momentum dwindling here. So the momentum was not strong enough to keep it green. So that usually shows that we're getting into the mature part of the move up. And if you can see that move up here on the daily chart, it's pretty significant. Pyramids did a great job tracking it. I'm not going to recommend this one because we're probably going to get a pullback and the trend is too mature. But hopefully, Al, you did well on that one and it's on its way. All right, let's take a look at MAXN for Al. Give that a second to load. All right, so this one, not a lot of history, goes back to about 2021 here. And as you can see, green PTFs on the short, but red on the long term. So what does that mean? Well, it means when you see a red PTF on the long term, anything moving to the upside is considered a correction. So it should head back down. When you see green on the shorter time frames, at the same time you see the red, it means short term we're still heading up. So we're probably going to get up to 35-ish or so, which is, you know, in that point of inflection right here, which is basically a fib target zone. And then I would expect it to come down. So I'm not going to recommend this one for that reason. Okay, MAXN. All right, VIPS. Okay, VIPS is looking much better for a significant trade. Now, with that said, what do we see on the 60-minute chart? A red PTF. This is why I love this indicator. All right, this basically either confirms a reason or denies it. So again, liquidity is a little low here. Okay, you can see how it gaps a lot on the 60. That means low liquidity. You don't have that as much here. So that's, Ken, this is a great example for you. And so when I see a chart that's more spotty and erratic on the 60, usually the volume's a little too low for me. Okay, so that's one thing. Also, we read PTF is indicating short term we should go below here, so we may go below 14, which is just down here. It's not saying we're going to crash it necessarily. If we go below this, then we are going to go way down. But I would stay out of it for a long position. Okay. If this, works its way out, maybe in a month it pulls back a little bit, then we'll take a look at it again. Liquidity is a little low on that one. All right. That's VIPS, VIPS. All right. CELH. All right. So now this one, liquidity is good. Yellow PTFs across the board. We had a bearish divergence here. So probably, a 3, 4, 5. However, this is larger. So this is wave 5 inside the major wave 3. So we're probably in a correction at this point. Probably come down to about 70, I think, and then it should go. So let's not go long on this one anymore. If you're long now, use the 60 minutes chart for your stops, and you can place it right here on the pyramid, and that will get you out of the way if it goes down from here. Okay, that's CELH. I'm not going to recommend that one though. Okay, good one to look at. All right, any others? Good session today. So here's the ones I like. All right, but you got to be careful in your stop loss placement. GBTC. All right, so let's just bring that one up one more time. I'll go through these really quick before we sign off here. So GBTC, I think long term, okay, this is on its way, at least to 25 to 37, and then we'll see how much strength it has after that. Short term, if you go in now, you got to put that stop pretty far away. Unfortunately, the trade entry was long ago. We had you in this trade around $9, so that's when the trade was entry was really the best. So it's a little extended. I get it if you don't want to go in and wait, but I do think GBTC is in a fairly significant uptrend. All right, don't bet the farm on any of these. Take your, use the risk reward calculator, risk 2% on any given idea or trade. That way you won't lose your shirt if you get stopped out. Okay, silver, the next one here. Let's take a look at silver. This is one, again, we waited for a long time. We got a buy on it. We think it's heading well into the 30s here pretty soon. Okay, now it doesn't mean it's not going to pull back, because this is an unusual amount of price bars in a row. So it doesn't mean it's not going to pull back to 20 before it goes. So don't have your stop too close, but it could possibly wait for the pullback. The only risk you have by waiting sometimes it goes higher than you think, and then by the time it pulls back, all right, you might not get into it as good as the price now. But there is going to be a pullback, and so if you're patient, you'll probably get in maybe a little bit better than here. Okay, always a possibility. AMD, okay, AMD. Now this is also considered a long-term trade, and the reason for this is you can see on the weekly chart. I'll open that up. Here's our beautiful can't miss wave 3, right? Okay, had a nice ABC wave 4 correction, deep enough to really be a solid bottom. Moving off the bottom, target zone is here. PTF target zone is calling for highs above the wave 3 high, which certainly makes sense. Okay, so we're liking that. I think the risk to reward of where prices currently are and where they're going, all right, is 2 to 1. So you're good to go on this one. Again, the only caveat, okay, is don't have your stop so close. Okay, keep your stop under here, okay, on the daily chart, and you should be fine on that one. All right, nothing's guaranteed, of course. Okay, UPRO. Okay, and let's take a look at this one. This was a scalp trade. Remember, using the PTF. So we like this trade a lot. Target is here. All right, put your stop as low as you can, preferably here. You got a 2 to 1. Should be good to go. Okay. So that is UPRO. ENVX. All right, let's take a look at that one. All right, so this is another one, a buy that we like a lot, especially as a long-term buy. It's run up a lot, so you got to be a little careful here with your stop again. The ideal entry would have been down here. Stop needs to be here to give it enough room to breathe and short-term profit taking so you don't get stopped out. But it looks pretty good. If you want to wait for an opportunity when it does pull back, and it will pretty soon, all right, you certainly can do that, okay, and maybe get in at a better price. So definitely keep that in mind. INTU. And this is one we think we're getting in really early enough for that wave 5. Again, I'll open up that weekly chart. You can see, all right, there's your wave 3, the most powerful wave in the trend, highest momentum. Here's your wave 4, and we're working our way probably up to wave 5. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm liking this. Also, too, what I like about this one, we haven't had a super huge run up yet. A little bit on here, all right, but not super huge. So you could put your stop under, you know, pretty far under here. I would draw, what I would do on this one, I don't think I'd use the pyramid on this one if it's a long-term trade. So what I think I would do here is grab the retracements, see where the point of inflection is. Pyramid sitting in the middle, not too bad, but I would put it under 408.75. That way, if it pulls back to that inflection point, you could do it. Now, another thing I do is usually when markets get away from me, all right, 2 things I can do. I can use an option, okay, not worry about the stop, just control my risk control through the option. Or I can go in with a half a trade size. Let's say I do all the calculations and it says I should buy 500 shares, all right? So instead of buying the 500 shares, I'll buy 250. And then at least I'm in it in case it never pulls back. But if it does pull back and goes here, then I'll add another 250, lower my cost basis without increasing my risk because my original trade size was 500. So it makes no difference, okay? That's what I do a lot of times when I don't want to miss something, but at the same time, I think it may pull back. Just food for thought, okay? All right, let's see what else I got here. Did I look at CELH? Can't remember if I looked at this one. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, yeah, this is the one where you had the wave 5 inside the wave 3. Okay, so we're done there. All right, Ken's saying, Ben, I believe you said you have a new book coming out, high level. How does it compare to the first? A lot more information, Ken, than the first. And you can pre-order it now and probably get the best price. We're going to put a whole bunch of new information in that book that wasn't in the book back in 2008. Can you believe it's been that long? And we're also going to put a lot of information about all the indicators at the bottom, okay? So all the new software. So you definitely want to grab that, okay? You won't be sorry because there's going to be a ton of new information in that. All right, Al, is that TQQQ? Boy, we haven't looked at that one in a long time. All right, TQQQ. So pull down, all right, and now it looks poised to possibly move to the upside. We got green PTF on the 60, all right, and we got pyramids across the board. I think I would take this one, okay? I think I got to put that on the buy list. Good thing you looked at it. All right. Could pull back, but that pyramid isn't too bad. You might want to put it a little bit lower, draw your fibs in here and just put it under the fibs for a pullback. But I'm kind of liking that. That's got a lot of room. That might even get above 100 at some point. Okay? So not too shabby. But it is going to pull back at some point, but it looks like we're going to get more short-term highs. So maybe it gets up to 30 and pulls back a little bit. So you can do the, if you're thinking about going in with 500 shares, do 250 now, wait for the pullback and make sure the bot, this level holds and add another 250. All right, SU, Bill, how you doing? SU, stock is SU. I went to Syracuse University, so that's SU too. So this better be a good one. Let's see what happens here. All right, so a couple things on this. Okay, so he's got this as a long-term situation, gives him a dividend. Yield over 6%, not too shabby. All right, so, all right, I think at this time, if we look at the indicators, we got a lot of red on the PTFs. So we're probably going to come down. But according to the long-term chart here, as long as this stays green, this move down that these charts are predicting here and here is only a correction, not a change in trend yet. So since you're, having a yield on that thing, you may want to hold it. It shouldn't go down. It could go into the mid-20s before we see bullishness come back. So come next, come every week, and when it gets to levels that you're concerned about, let me know and we'll look it up, okay? The other thing, too, is that you've had a number of pyramids in a row here to the upside, but you have a red. So it's saying, basically, unless this turns to green, right now it's looking like any move to the upside is temporary. And so maybe the correction on the long-term chart's not done. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Okay, cool. All right, so very, very good. A lot of good buys. I'll post those in the recording today as well. So don't forget, when I do the recording, if you, in the description area on YouTube, if you click on more, because they kind of hide stuff there, if you click on more, it will show you the timeline. And I'll create a timeline for all the symbols. So you can just click on the symbol and it will take you to the stock or whatever ETF you want to see instead of having to watch the whole video. All right, let's have a little fun. I'm done looking at position trades, so let's just go over and see how the MES is doing on very short time frames. We run a day trading room. We've had really a lot of success with that. It's been a great room. And we've had 2 back-to-back decent years, so we're doing pretty well in there. And we trade the 1-minute time frames are primary. That's the chart in the center. And the 5-minute is over here. That's our long-term chart. And our 15-second is on the short-term end. So usually position traders, they go, your long-term chart's the 5-minute. Wow. Okay. So, but it's very orderly and very, very structured. And so we follow the pyramids up on these type of trades as well, just like we do any other. And we use all the confirmation signals, etc. So that's kind of where we're at there. All right, whoops, we got one more to look at here. Let's go back to the position trades for real quick here. TNA. Let's do TNA. All right, and this is for Rito. How you doing, Rito? All right, let's see if we got any possibilities with this bad boy. Taking a long time to load. Is that symbol correct? Did I type it in correct? Yep, I typed it in correct. Not loading. Let's give it a little more time. I don't think I've looked at it before, so maybe it has to fill the cache or something. It's not loading, so I don't know. There it is, finally. Okay, good. All right, so let's take a look at this one. All right, no longer a red PTF. Let's open up the weekly chart and see if it's, all right, a little on the messy side, okay? A little on the messy side. Came way down here. Almost at its pullback here. Okay, this is in some form of retracement that could be over. A little too early to say because we just made a new low, last week, looks like. So the lower time frames could be starting to turn over. So we took out this pyramid. So the short pyramid is gone. So no longer shorts. But this is still red. This is kind of turning bullish over here. No red here. That's good. No red here. So what I would do on this is ask you, where do you think the target is? Because I'm having a hard time figuring out what the target's going to be on that. If this is a double bottom, then that means this thing could really soar and take out this high. That's possible. All right, but that's going to be years to get there. I mean, years. All right, so I don't see that as a short-term opportunity, and I don't really see in the mess on the weekly chart any opportunity yet. So I would hold off on this. I mean, I'm not going to go tell you to go long just on the 60-minute chart necessarily because I don't even know what the target's going to be on that. Actually, I probably could figure it out. We look like we're close to it now. So on the 60-minute chart, if this is a retracement trade, it would be something like here. So we're almost at the target there. And then I have to see what it's going to do after that. So I would not recommend this one. Besides, we have a red owl on the 1 minute time frame. So the momentum is still bearish. So I would not do a long trade. So I would pass on this one. Okay. I would definitely pass on that one at this point. Now, that doesn't mean forever, but for this week, I'd pass. Okay. All right. Well, that is it for today. I want to thank everybody for coming. Good turnout. We'll get the recording timeline posted in the next couple hours. It takes us a little time to do that. So that'll be up by the later part of the afternoon. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Okay. Great to have everybody here. Super, super. All right. So I'm going to put a little music on. And I think I'll just put one of the smaller time frames up here and let you kind of take a look here and see what's cooking. All right, and then see what's happening with that. Okay, got a nice move to the upside on the MES. All right, and if I go over here, we can take a quick look at crude oil. It's had a nice trend. Look at the pyramids, how nicely it did up here. Boom, boom, boom. And you still want to stay long, but you do want to trail those stops. So the stop would be here. If this turns green, the stop will go here. All right, which is good because you're going to get some type of correction at some point. This is green, so we're going to stay long. All right, and see, but we're due for a correction on this at any time. All right, long-term chart says after the correction, long-term meaning 5 minutes. After the correction, we should return and go higher. So I'll just leave it here. You can see how this unfolds for a couple minutes before I close the room. I'll put a little music on and you guys can hang out if you want. All right, so thanks so much. We'll be back next Friday. Have a great week. Always use risk control and see you next time. Notice you just got your new high here, as we kind of thought. So your stop now would be under this pyramid. This is going to turn yellow when the price bar closes. So you want your stop tight. Okay, there's the yellow. Okay. So this would have been a beautiful trade over the last, since 8 o'clock, roughly. More like 8:20, I guess, would be the first entry on that. Okay, I thought I'd just come on for a minute. Do you see this blue colored pyramid? So we got another one possibly forming. If prices go above the point of the pyramid, it will get confirmed. Currently now is a blue. That status is forming, unconfirmed. So if prices move up, it will turn green, and then we would move our stop right up under that. If it fails and prices go down and it voids out, it will disappear, then our stop is still left here. I don't think you can beat that for structure. And this is a 1 minute time frame. Okay, so now the pyramid has turned green. So now we can move our stop up here. All right, I don't know how to make it more stress-free than that. This way you stay in the trend as long as possible, get every possible profit you can, allow for a little room of just some minor pullbacks, yet at the same time, if it goes to a major correction, you get out. Still moving up. Now sometimes what we do is we scale out a little. If the PTFs change color from green, in other words, so if we were along 55 contracts or so, we might scale out 30 contracts, 20 contracts when this turns yellow and keep the rest on at the stop on the pyramid. Sometimes we scale out using the pyramids on the lower time frame. This is a 15 seconds. Look how clear the pyramids and the structure is. And that's because this market has good liquidity. And you can use one of these pyramids to scale out, which is going to be usually closer than the major pyramid here. So it's, you know, we're not looking at news. We're not looking at anything other than price structure. All our trading is risk control and price pattern, price structure. Okay, just thought I'd throw that on. I'm going to have to close the room in just a little bit, okay? I just wanted you to see this. And it keeps you in the trend in case you get surprised and the trend continues up much further than you thought. So this is the type of thing, you know, we do in our day trading room, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. We have a good time there, but it's very structured. Alright, so the owl is abnormally long. When you see an owl this long with bearish divergence, we're probably getting close. You also have bearish divergence here. Okay, so we're probably going to get stopped out, I think, pretty soon. Okay, so we'll see. I imagine it will go into its corrective phase. I think the PTF will stay green here. Okay, but I would get out on this run here. And if we do go into a correction at this point, you grab your fibs from up in the specified area, and there's the pullback target, and then it should go back up. But who knows? Maybe it's not done done moving up. Our stop is here, so we're still in it, but we're protected against a pullback. Then once it goes back in here, we'll see how far deep it goes, and that's why you want to get out. You want to see how deep it goes, and then we'll probably get another pyramid entry and go back in after the correction. We almost got a red owl here on the 15 seconds, so that's an indication we're running out of steam. We have 1, 2, 3. We have more than 4 pyramids, so we're at the area statistically of a mature trend that could reverse at any time. So you definitely don't want to go long here. That's for sure. You want to be long back in around 820. That was the opportunity between 820 and 830. Still got a fairly good bullish owl here. Not too shabby. So it could make one more brief high, but we're kind of getting towards the end here. Okay, so now we got a red owl. So we've got on the 15-second time frame. So we're probably going to come down a little bit further. Again, our stop would be here on this trade. So we'll stay with it in case we get another movement up. We also want to get out at that level. I think what I'll do is I'll just put a horizontal line pretty close to where the stop would be. About there. All right, here we come. So I would expect if we get stopped out here that this thing heads on down on an ABC correction and ends in this area here. So, you know, some form of a 3 here, ABC, and then moves back up. All right, so we would be out of the trade right now because it went below the pyramid, which is marked by that red line. Okay, so that would have been a nice trade. All right, now you're out, and you might even get back in, wait for this thing to come back down, and then get back in on wave 5. All right, so that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and shut the room down. Thank you for being here. Those of you that stuck around, good to have you here. If you love this kind of thing, you should join our day trading room. This is kind of, it's a blast. All right, so we'll see you next time, okay? Take care.